What's up, reefers? Welcome to my channel. New episode. This is Alex Wilson from Alex Pora Corals, and I would like to have a new episode. This one is on quarantine or captive bred fish, and I would like to make sure that everyone's okay with the coronavirus out there, as well as the winter storm on the east and in the Midwest, especially hard right now. And we're a little colder here in California, but luckily we're okay so far. So I want to issue a correction from the last episode. I mentioned briefly the copper safe. That's by Fritz Aquatics, and that one is probably good. I don't have an opinion on it, but I was referring to the CCAM cupramine as being especially hard to get the doses right. It's either too low and it won't work, or too high and then it'll kill your fish. So and I got that information, I believe, from Humble Fish, and that's one of the best resources online for quarantine practices and marine fish diseases. And it's humble.fish, and he originally used to be on Reef to Reef, and he had his a real good forum and postings there on the marine quarantine. And then after that, he started his own separate website, humble.fish, and it has all the some really good summary information there, and how-tos on specific fish, specific diseases and everything. And so great thanks there. And he also created his very own forum. So he has his own associated forum there, and I'm a member as well. And there's lots of reefers in there that are contributing to their experiences with marine fish and the diseases, and documenting that, and trying to get some of the best practices out there to everyone, so we can keep our fish and corals healthy. So appreciate that. And also like to thank Keith Berkelhammer. He's one of my first subscribers here on YouTube, and he has an excellent YouTube channel as well that has been going for 5 years, I believe, and is has some of the best information on there that I've seen so far online, and goes through his 187 gallon small polyp a reef build, and goes through his associated frag tank for that and all the equipment. And then more recently he has a 225 gallon system connected to that, also a small polyp, and his experiences on that, frag systems. And he has a real good a series on there on interviewing some of the best people that he's heard of. And his website is really good. It has the documenting his past aquariums on there very well, and some dry goods, as well as the corals that he sells and propagates from the systems. And it's really good source. And he has a series on there is pretty good. One of my favorites on there is with Mike Paletta, and he goes on talks as well about he also uses Miracle Mud, and has had good experiences with that. And he has also some pretty good information on there. Julian Sprung was on there recently, and it was good to hear from him again. He used to have information on Freshwater and Marine Aquarium magazine. That used to be the FAMA magazine we would read, and used to have a lot of great information in there. So I also like to thank Abe at Coral Euphoria. He has some of the best YouTube channel videos I've seen. Good information, extremely artistic, yeah. So great thanks there. And he has some of the best corals out. I think he's like almost an acropora specialist out there, and some of the best looking acropora that he has for sale there on his website. So also like to thank Thing at Tidal Gardens. He has some of the best information on coral husbandry, on species by species information on his YouTube channel. And he also has his aquaculture facility there that he's building out. So he has really great corals available for sale and a good website, lots of information. There's also Ryan Batchelor and Randy over there at Bulk Reef Supply, and they have a real good series of YouTube videos that they've been making for years and years now, and lots of good, especially they have what they call the BRS Investigate series, and he'll go in there and try to do some tests on stuff to try to separate fact from fiction and a lot of these things that we're trying to figure out. So great things there, along with all of the great suppliers that they have. So also like to get in today and talk about the captive bred fish. And on my systems, with the new systems, I'm planning on putting on there. I think I'm gonna go with 2 or 3 yellow tangs that are captive bred from Biota. Tom over there at the Biota, they have some of the best aquaculture fish available right now, and I'm excited about that. And so much so, I think that captive bred fish, is the future of the industry. And the reason isn't because I can save save it if a species is endangered out there in the ocean. That's one thing. It probably shouldn't be collected for the industry if that's the case. But otherwise, the reason captive bred fish are so good is that they are disease free, or 99% disease free compared to their wild counterparts, and that is huge, and I can't believe just how big of a thing that is. It's absolutely revolutionary for me, because this means that all of the quarantine, tank transfer method, and everything else is pretty much obsolete. You don't have to worry about any of that. So then on top of that, the fish should be generally more healthy than the wild counterparts, and they were already accustomed to the eating in the captivity and everything else, right? So great things to them and all the work that they've been doing over there, and I think that's definitely the future. And also plan on getting a pair of mandarin fish from them, and they also have quite a limited selection, some of the other fish that they have available. So let's see. The thing is that you got to quarantine, or not quarantine, and captive bred fish. That's kind of like what I want to talk about today. And the thing is that you have. That's the problem, that's existed with wild caught fish, is the diseases that they have on them. Especially we'll talk about velvet. That's the main one that it's just so devastating, and I'm most concerned about, and it's when we started getting into reasons why to proactively quarantine fish coming in. And that's it. So, you have just, what are your options? If you want just, first off, like say, we want to see if quarantine is a good idea or a bad idea, and so you want to, eventually, if you come to the conclusion that it is, we often ask in the industry, are you, as as a hobbyist, you would say, I got the fish from the retailer, and so you ask the retailer, are you quarantining your fish, and are you in the quarantine, and if they say, this is the wholesalers are doing the quarantining, and then you go to the wholesalers, and the wholesalers will say, we get it from the retailers are the one doing the quarantining, and then you go to the retailers and the hobbyists is doing the quarantine, so it's a big cycle of no one is actually quarantining, and so you also have either some of the retailers do a good job of quarantining the fish properly, and some of the maintenance companies out there, I know that they do as well. As so, hands up to them who have been doing that for years and years and providing good quality quarantine disease-free fish to their customers. But hope that's why I believe with the captive bred fish is the industry future on there. So once the thing is, you got to realize what you're up against, with these wild caught fish diseases, and that's the problem. There's 5 things you want to worry about, and the first one is and the most, in my mind, most important, and that's velvet, and the scientific name is Amylodinium, and that's the one where they're salt-like or velvet-colored. Parasites that will wipe your system out, or fish just within 3 or 4 days, right? And so, after that you have the ick, the scientific name Cryptocaryon, and that's a similar type of parasite, that has the salt-like appearances, and that one has a longer life cycle and it's much less virulent, right? And then there's the other 3 that are just to a much lesser degree, in my opinion. We have the Uronema, and the Uronema is just a type of ciliate parasite, right? So it's not a huge concern like velvet is, right? And so the 4th thing on there, that people are looking out to quarantine for are flukes. And those are just like marine-like tapeworms that live on the outside of the fish. It's really transparent. It's hard to see a lot of times. And the last thing is bacterial infections, right? It's just the last thing you would actually want to worry about. So once you realize if you're up against this, it's mainly velvet. That what do you do? What are your options? So your options as a hobbyist, were number 1, you can just have a fish only system, and that's what we used to do just with the saltwater aquariums, and the fish only, where you just have you would treat and run copper just constantly in the aquarium itself, and wasn't healthy for the fish and for the whole just not a healthy system. So and that's one of the things why I came up we were working the whole idea of the tank transfer method, right, is that it's a safe healthy alternative to copper, whereas because copper at least it might be kind of detrimental, or at least bring down the health of the fish, in a long-term fashion. So, I don't know if it's been proven, but, that's one theory out there, that it might be kind of like having chemotherapy or something, where it brings the fish down a couple of notches, unfortunately, even though they survive it. So that's why there's a tank transfer method, and I'll get into that maybe into another video, but I pretty much decided just to go with for myself, just with captive bred, because I can avoid all of that issues, right? But second option is to have an aquarium just with corals only, no fish. So that's the second option. The third option that I like to hear about, it used to call the dump and pray method. So yeah, that's just where you just dump your fish in, and then you just pray and hope that they don't have velvet, and so and I have to admit, I did that myself more times than I would like to admit, right? Where it's just I'd put fish in there into the systems, and it would seem fine, and for you get more fish, but sooner or later, eventually, you'll get one that will have, especially the velvet, and it's just detrimental. It's, wipe everything out completely. So that's the method, and that's what a lot of people have been using. They still use over the, even to today. They just dump them straight in and pray. They don't want to mess with it. And then when everything dies off, they just they start over, and hope and keep praying. So hopefully we can improve upon that, and that's why we decide, okay, from there we're quarantining. Maybe that is a good idea. So, that's the fourth option out there, is to have a professional quarantining, where you have a professional who just specializes just in that, and offers already professionally quarantined fish, they've already went through a decent quarantining process, right? So the fifth option is to quarantine yourself. And so, and then that's great for people who have the time, and the patience to do so. So it is an option out there. It's hard to we want to do is expand, the information and, on how to do that effectively. And a lot of that is on the humble.fish, so you can explore a lot of that there. Okay, so the last option is just the captive bred fish, the sixth option. So, and that's it. I think that's the future, and the way that I'm definitely going to go is with the captive bred fish option. So I guess that's about all I have to offer for this time. And next time I'll get into an update on quickly just on my tank transfer method, on my article there, and basically that should be it. Okay, have a great day. Thank you for watching. Bye.